How much does it really cost to put together a fashion week show? How do you open a business in the middle of a pandemic and make it work? And what's it like to actually work with social media influencers? Are they as demanding as mainstream celebrities? In this interview, Danelle Dungca takes us inside the glitz, the grit, and behind the scenes realities of the fashion industry. From the big numbers behind runway productions to the powerful role of word of mouth marketing, she shares the strategy and lessons that have shaped her success. We also talk about her immigration journey, the early days of running her own boutique while still in college, the challenges of expanding a business, and how buying habits have changed since the pandemic. Whether you love fashion or simply want to know how creative entrepreneurs survive and thrive, the Nell story delivers insider insights you won't forget. Hi, Isa.
Hi. Hi, Farlane. How are you?
Good, and thank you for coming here.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me
Of
here.
course, a fellow Filipino. So let's get to that actually.
Okay.
How did you end up in the US?
Well, I think it's all the same. Your parents migrated here, and with after a few years, we were petitioned to come here, and we were based in and we stayed in California. First, my parents were in Los Angeles, and then they moved to San Francisco, and then San Francisco became our basically our home base. And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you moved here, you were 15?
I was 15, 16. I already graduated high school, and I had 1 year in the University of Santo Tomas. Yeah.
Tuition.
Yes. Are you?
Yes.
Yeah, and after that, I was like, okay, the petition came, and I have to migrate here. So that's what happened.
What were you studying in?
I was in arts and liberals sciences
Yes.
to be a journalist. Journalism. Oh, really? Oh, my goodness.
Journalism, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really wanted to be in the fine arts department, but
Okay.
actually, my parents wants me to be in any type of medical field.
Of course, Asian.
Yes, but I
She
just.
she told us earlier that she thought that Asians are exaggerating whenever we say that our parents always want us to end up like.
No, it's not an exaggeration. It's a true fact. In my family, I think there are only two different kinds of careers. Either you're in the medical field or you're in arts. And there's nothing in between.
Yeah.
We don't have a lawyer. We don't have, an
Yeah.
accountant or something like that. It's always either the arts or the science.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then you finished your schooling here.
Yes.
Okay. So what was your first job out of college before you?
Well,
I'm trying
actually,
to
while
lead up
I
to-
was while I was in college, I was already working. I was
okay.
working in San Francisco. Oh my God, this is like eons ago. I feel like I'm too old already. When I was in San Francisco and I was in college, I was working at this company called Esprit de Corps.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember it, but it's
Yes.
based in San Francisco. It's this funky fashion company. So that's where I started my career in fashion. I was there, and then after that, while I was working there and while I was in school, I opened up my little shop on Third Street in San Francisco. Yeah. And then after that, I told myself I really wanted to do more. So I applied at the Fashion Institute of Technology here in New York, and I got accepted. And then I decided to pack my things and moved here. Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of store did you open when you were?
It's actually still a custom made shop. It's called Camisa, where I do weddings, I do evening wear, and also menswear. Yeah.
You were in college and you were already designing clothes for other people?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's just that I've seen my mom, because my mom does all these things growing up. And when she was working for Levi's company, and I see her like do all these things all the time. And my mom, she never buy her clothes. Every time she goes to a party, she makes her own things. She makes her gown. So that's where I got the creative aspect, the creative side of me. And then I was like, you know what? This is fun. Let me just, open a shop and do this. Make extra money, make money while in school.
But it's your job.
Yeah.
So were you thinking about like rent? How do I pay rent? How do I pay?
It's one of those things where you just wanted, like, I guess it's very innate in me that I just wanted to make money at a young age, make my own things, and provide for myself.
Right.
Yeah.
How did you market yourself at such a young age?
I think that time also, I have like few friends who are also designers, and they also have their own little niche market, so we found ourselves to have our own little corners in San Francisco on 3rd Street, and then everybody was just like supporting each other, And for clientele, it's basically a word of mouth. When you do something for somebody and they love it, they will just refer you to another person or to another client. That's how it became a business. That's how it became a business. Yeah.
Okay, so now you moved to New York, and you decided to apply for Fashion Institute of Technology.
Yes.
Okay, and then after that, what happened?
After the Fashion Institute of Technology, after graduating, I kind of found myself. I found my freedom, almost. Like, I became independent. I wanted to do my own things. So basically, I started working with a lot of fashion companies here in the city. Not necessarily doing design work, but some are design work and some are more like in merchandising and in visual arts. Yeah.
And you do that, what, just to pay your bills, just because?
It's I guess to pay your bills, to learn, and to survive, because I was by myself. So it comes with the responsibility of like, okay, you need to have a job to pay your rent,
right?
To put food on your table.
What was the longest job that you worked?
The longest job, I was working for the company as a visual artist, visual stylist for about 10 years, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then after that, I became their district person where I have to fly in all these different states every Monday. It's like every Monday I'm on a plane in a different city, in a different area. So I love that job until Recession happened. And that was oh my God, if I'm going to say, I'm so old. But anyways, I think it was 2010.
Recession before that?
Before
Recession that he took over.
Yes.
Okay.
It was 2010,
I think so.
Yeah, 2010, 2011, or 2009, I believe. And that's when I was working there, there's some cuts on the jobs and stuff like that. And then I was like looking for, okay, what am I going to do now? What's next for me? And that's when I started to, okay, I have this background in design. I haven't done this, so let me just go ahead and, and start doing it again. And that's when I started, opened 110 collection. Okay. And then the rest is history. Basically.
Okay, so yeah, I do remember I was still in the Philippines at that time, but there was a huge talk about this being like one of the longest and worst recessions ever but then so it's amazing to me that it was recession and you decided to open up your own business.
Because, well, yeah, right. And I don't even have money that time. The only thing I know is I have the drive to do something. It's more of like a survival.
Right.
Because you don't have a job. What are you going to do?
Right.
Applying for another job did not even occur to me because I felt like if I'm going to do that, then I won't be able to do what I really wanted to do. And I don't want to regret, basically.
Right.
So I tried that. It was hard in the beginning, but then again, within, when when you're doing it constantly and people are recognizing what you're doing, that was a big step into at least, finally realizing, oh, I'm good at this.
Right, right. Okay.
Let me stick to this. Yeah.
Okay, so when you formed the 110 collection, what was I guess, what were you envisioning to be your target market? And what were you envisioning to be the unique selling proposition of the brand? The one thing that sets you apart from others?
I think culturally, Filipinos love to wear custom-made clothes. And that was the basis of 110 collection. It's not to do production. It's not to have, a piece of like a capsule collection with 100 production pieces on each style. It was more of, here's a client. You'll design for this client, and the client will pay you for the service that you've done. And then it was basically a word of mouth. When this client is satisfied with what you're doing, they will refer you to this person. And then it just kept rolling and rolling. And that was the basis of the whole thing.
Who sews? Do you?
I do. And I have also a couple of people who works for me that does, because everything that we do is basically specified for this one person. So it needs to be, there will be like fittings that's involved, 2 to 3 fittings until everything looks great on one person. And when you're designing for somebody and then you have other people working for you, you need to know what they're doing. It's not just about sketching. It's not about just, telling them what to do. You really need to be able to make sure that what you're saying, you can also do it.
Right.
So you don't sound stupid with the people that you're working with. Yeah.
Okay. So what is your most common client?
My most common client, all right. These are, it's weddings, and also Filipinos love to parties. Filipinos love to attend balls. So most of the gowns that we're doing are very elaborate, and there is a constant let me just tell you an example. I have this client where comes January, she sits with me and she will tell me all the dates of all her parties. And then
I love it.
I have to sketch everything that she has to attend to. And all I have to do is make sure that I have all those dates and all those counts are ready for her. Yeah. It's amazing. It is amazing. Yeah.
And you do all the designs yourself?
I do all the designs myself. I do the sketches myself. I do the fabrication myself. I do all the outsourcing of everything.
Okay.
And then when it comes to cutting the fabric, I do it also myself. And then I have somebody who comes in and sew the garment, and then I have to check. But finalizing, it's all on me. I needed to make sure the quality control is there.
So you don't do mass production?
No.
Do you ever
Well,
plan?
actually, there was a time that I did mass production. There was a Filipino store that branched out here in the United States. It's called Sari Sari Store. I don't know if you remember it in the Philippines that time. And they opened their store here in New York. And I was one of their designers who produced a collection for them. But it wasn't really a mass production. It's almost like each style has at least about a pre-pack of 10 or 12 pieces of each
Still
style. Yeah, and when that's done, it's done. We
Right.
don't reproduce it. Yeah.
Right.
And that happened for about a few years, actually. Yeah.
Was this before 110 collection?
This was before 110 collection. Yeah, before 110 collection.
All right. So then how many employees do you have?
Right now, I have 2.
Okay.
I used to have like 3 or 4, but 2 of them already retired.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what does it take? How many clients, I guess what I'm driving at is how many clients do you need in order to maintain these 2 employees?
I need to make sure that within the year that I have enough like weddings, and also they work part-time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they don't work full-time for me because they also have other things that's going on, and they're basically on call. They're not like a full-time employee.
Okay.
So if there are projects, then they're free. So I have to make sure that their schedule matches mine, and that's how I do things with them. Yeah.
Okay, but you still have bills to pay.
Oh,
So
yes,
I'm
of
assuming
course.
that at the end of the day, you still need like, okay, I need a certain number of clients in order to make sure that I don't die of hunger or something.
Yes, of course.
So what is the number for you? Like, how many weddings do I need to do?
Normally, I accept just 2 weddings a year.
Oh,
Because there is a time frame, and within those 2 weddings I also have those other clients, the clients who loves to party. So they're all like in between. And also, for the most part, I just don't deal with the bride. I have to make sure that it is a package with the bridesmaids, the mother-in-law, the mom, and all of that. And a lot of my brides, for example, it's not just a wedding gown. They want 5 dresses. From the bridal shower to, all those parts. Yeah, all
they
those
have more than one wedding.
all the parties leading to the wedding. And then on the wedding night itself, it's not just one dress. It has to be 3 dresses. The wedding ceremony, the reception, and then the after party.
Okay.
That's how they do it. Amazing. I'm telling you. And then within the process, you're enjoying yourself because you're working with clients that are very open-minded. They're not the bridezillas, because I hate working with people like that, because when you're a creative person and, you're working with a difficult client, things are not just going to work out. I'm just really, really, what do you call this, blessed that most of my clients are very, they leave it up to me, to make the creative decisions. Yeah.
Okay, so when you participate in Fashion Week, since you don't mass produce your products, you don't mass produce your clothing. So what is the objective? Just
The objective is to get the brand out there, basically. And a lot of times when people see what's on the runway, they will just contact me and said, okay, I want that gown. I want that dress. Can you make it in my size? And then it will be specific for that person. And it will be her own gown. It's not going to be reproduced for other clients.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to produce a show, like for example in Fashion Week, how much does it cost?
It does cost a lot. It costs a lot because you have to factor not just the collection itself, but also the other, the extensions of that. You have your staff that you have to pay. You have some models that you have to pay, hair and makeup, production people, and whatnot. So
And
it
you're
does
designing
build
couture?
some. Yes. Basically,
Okay.
it's couture work.
And then of course you have to pay the models and stuff.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
is it upwards of what, 30?
It really depends. In a show that's a big show, really, it's between 30 to 100,000 to do a show. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so wow. So you really need to, if you're not and this is not your first time. The one
No,
that you're
this is
in
not my
Fashion Week.
first
So
time,
for
yeah.
you to do it again means you're actually getting your money's worth.
Yes.
Actually
Yeah.
Getting the money.
Even like before the past few shows that I've done before pandemic, and most of my guests are actually clients. Most of the people who went to my shows are clients, and then from there, people sees what you're doing, and if your aesthetics is the same way as their aesthetics, and they will just come and get in touch with you. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so is there any change you're seeing driven by the influence of influencers, social media influencers in fashion? Are they actually affecting the fashion industry?
Oh, definitely. Let me tell you something. Before, in New York Fashion Week, before all the social media happens, you're not even allowed to take pictures when you're watching the shows, because they wanted to make sure that each designer will then, after the show, their press will come up with the press kits for older designs for public consumption, basically. But now it's totally different. All influencers, they sit in the front row, they're wearing your clothes, and then they're promoting it in their social media. And if an influencer has about 1 million followers, that's a very big free, marketing, PR for a designer, basically, yeah. And also most of the designers right now, they're reaching for influencers to wear their clothes. No, not necessarily. But my friend from LA who owns the modeling agency always uses my garments every time there is a photo shoot or every time there is something going on in red carpet. He will call me and says, "Can you do this for this particular person?" Or, "We're doing a photo shoot. Can you send me a few pieces from your collection, from your archive?"
Yeah.
And that's like a big thing.
Yeah. Why not? Why aren't you actively working with influencers?
Because right now, I've had like already how would I say this without sounding? I think it's also because some of the aesthetics does not align with few influencers that I want to work with, because not all influencers you can work with. But I have few people that are models that I already consider them influencers who that I've dressed in the past, and then that's got a lot of traction in terms of social media and in terms of following and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's talk the business side of fashion.
Okay.
Now that you are you've been running your own business for a while.
Yes.
What do you think is the biggest hurdle for designers to expand their business?
Money.
Okay.
First, finances. If it's always about money, and then if you have your own, what do you call this? Well, of course, if you're rich and you have money, that's not a problem. And also, it's the marketability of your designs.
Right.
And it's also about following. If you have a good following in terms of, I call them cult following, then you will be successful. But then again, sometimes you will be successful now, and then 2 years later, your whole company is not there anymore, because fashion changes constantly. And if you're not going to be up with the times, then you're not going to be that successful.
So the COVID changed a lot of things,
Yes.
especially the consumption habits
Yes.
of people. Has it affected your brand or the fashion industry in general?
Well, first, with me personally, during pandemic, of course, everything stopped.
Right.
There are no parties. People are not going anywhere.
Right.
So that affected my business. So I had to kind of like shift a little bit and try to figure out, how am I going to survive in these times without clients? So I kind of like shifted a little bit and made a little bit of things here and there that people can buy online. And that's how I survived during pandemic, basically.
What was it that you made?
Well, it was crazy because, of course, people were wearing masks and stuff like that. So we did a lot of, I would say, couture mask, where there's all this embroideries and all that, where people are, they're very, very fashionably apt kind of mask. And that was one of the things that we were doing. And then I went into making accessories and that kind of like headbands and earrings and all that, just because you're not doing anything at home. What are you going to do? And people found their hobbies to be profitable. So I kind of like jump on that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then,
Did
of
it
course,
do well?
it did well until, of course, everything opened up again. And then I went back to the old ways of doing things with clients and whatnot. Parties are on. So little by little, they came back.
Do you
Yeah.
not want to do headbands and masks anymore, or other
Well,
accessories?
Yes and no, but because I'm still so busy with other things, it's one of those things that's just in the back, sitting there, and not being in the forefront of things for me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, but okay. So you were saying that, but that's for you. But how do
Yes.
you think?
Oh, when it comes to the whole fashion industry, what happened during pandemic, it's that, of course, the online business boomed.
Yeah.
Everybody was just like ordering online. Everybody is just making things and selling it online. And the process of that is a lot of the small designers also made money, doing whatever that in the kitchen table and then sell it online.
Right.
And that's how all the other little designers survive during that time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Do you think retail stores will ever make a comeback?
How would I say this? I think for me at this point in time, only the big companies are surviving.
Right.
If you're a little bit on the smaller scale, the chances of surviving is very minute. Yeah, it's very small. And also because people nowadays, they tend to gravitate to a brand that they think it's going to last. That's case in point. There's a lot of brands that are specific for athletics. Let's think about Lululemon, Alo, Sweet Betty, all those brands. They have their own cult following, so those brands are going to stay for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And also the established brands, the really established couture houses or the really established brands are going to stay for a while. Yeah.
Do you plan on expanding to California?
Not at this moment, but it is a thought. It is a thought that expanding is in the future. But at this point, there's still no plans for that. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of Filipinos and a lot of events happening.
Oh yes, in California, yes.
There's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the hub of Filipinos.
Tell me about it. Well, even here, of course, in New York City, we have the biggest Filipino parade every June, and for the
you
most,
do?
yes, it's from the Philippine Independence Day Council.
Okay.
It's like the biggest one on Madison Avenue every first week of June, I believe. Yeah, and all the parties are all like from May until June. That's when the money making months are.
Right,
yeah.
right. So right now your marketing is really limited to word of mouth.
Yes, pretty much so. Yes.
You don't have any plans of doing social media.
Well, it's I'm in social media. I'm all over the place basically, but I'm very very careful when I take a client. I need to make sure that I can work with that person.
Okay.
Not everybody. You cannot work with everybody.
Right.
Let's just put it that way. And whenever I work, it's always a collaboration between me and the client, and we make sure that we agree on everything. And the great satisfaction that I have is when I get the creative liberty to do, to do what I do, and at the same time, the client is satisfied with what you're doing.
Right.
Basically, yeah.
What's your biggest project yet?
The biggest project that I've done was a show called Slay Models Asia. It was done in the Philippines,
Oh, okay.
and they tapped me as the designer to design about 24 pieces for that show. And we flew there. We did everything here, and then we did all the fittings back home in the Philippines. And that is one of the biggest projects that I've done. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So outside of Fashion Week, what else do you have?
I'm also a visual stylist for a big department store here. Yes, I do. I am a visual stylist for one of their department stores. Yeah.
So that's your 9 to 5.
It's sort of like my 9 to 5. Yeah.
So it's a full-time thing.
Yeah, it is a full-time thing. Yeah.
So if you're a stylist when you do, so so all those designs, all those mannequins that we're doing,
Yes.
that's you.
Yes.
Okay, that we see on the store. So when are you given instructions that okay, you need to feature this brand, or do you just look at everything that you have in store and say, okay, maybe I will put something together?
Okay, that's a tricky question
Okay.
because everything comes from corporate.
Okay.
There is every season they come up with a campaign and they send it to us. Okay, this is the campaign, this is the brands that we want to use, or there is a product list. But then again, a lot of times each store does not get all the product list. So that's when the tricky part comes. That's when you make sure that your ability to style is up to par because you have to pull from different vendors, from different brands to make sure that whatever concept that you have for this moment,
represented.
is represented. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So you need to keep an open mind and everything. Yeah.
I think one is just an anecdote. One of the things that I hate about looking at, like seeing something on a mannequin,
Yes.
and then liking it, and then not knowing where to find it.
Well, actually, we're very good at that because we have this thing called plaques, So we have those plaques, and then if a brand is this and it's in a mannequin, and then what part of the department store that you can go and find it. Yeah.
There's something like, I like this, but I don't know where to find it.
There was this one woman one time. I was doing this a collection called Boho Everything, and then I'm sorry. And then she came up to me and she goes, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. And I said, sure, you can go to this shop. It's on level 2 or something like that. And then she goes, how much is it? And then I told her how much it cost, the whole ensemble. And then she goes, forget it. And I always say, well, if you ask the price, you cannot afford it.
Yeah, if you ask the price.
If you ask the price, then then it's not for you.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. So, where do you find the inspiration for when you style the mannequins? Is it really just you, or are you given like inspirations?
The inspiration comes, how would I say this? There is a guideline when you're doing something, and they will tell you, but at the same time, it's still your vision to make sure that everything looks great, because not everybody can, you can put a pants and a top together, but to style it and to make sure that it's physically attractive, then that's a different story.
Right,
Yeah.
right. There's a movement, I guess, in the last several years about being more inclusive when it comes to sizes. Yeah. Is it challenging for stylists to have to now think about the different sizes and, of course, also accommodate special needs?
Michael, all right, let me just put it this way. In the store level, a lot of times we only deal with one size, which is a size 2 or a size 4.
Right.
But now there are other stores that have a full representation of different sizes.
Right.
And also because also the vendors, they have a bigger size that you can use and whatnot. But for me, and also for the store that I work with, I only have to deal with one size, which is a 2 or a 4, something like that. But nowadays, especially on runways and fashion shows, it has to be represented,
Right, yeah.
because there is now, I believe if it was a rule or a law that was passed by the industry, I'm not sure if it, correct me if I'm wrong, with CFDA, when it comes to models, you need to make sure that you hire, a different representation of either sizes
yeah.
or ethnicities and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So, I guess several last questions. When you are given directives as to, I don't know if this within your paycheck, but when you're given directives like, okay, so these are the creative directions for the store designs and all of those stuff, do you know how they make a decision what brand to include?
I'm not really sure because how they select the brands, but I know on the marketing standpoint, some of the brands pay for it. Especially in let's say cosmetics and fragrances. When the cosmetics and fragrances, they're being given their own space, it is part of their marketing.
Okay.
And also, I think some of the brands, also when we're doing Outpost, I think it's also part of their marketing. So they pay extra for that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So, last question. If you have, well, second to last question. If there's anybody who wants to pursue fashion as a career, what's your advice?
You better make sure that you have a backup plan. It is a hard business to get into. Let me tell you that. You just need to be very, very focused on what you do. And if it's a dream of yours, just go ahead and pursue that dream. Study is one of the biggest things that you need to do. Just make sure that you know everything. And be open-minded and be kind to people because you'll never know who you're going to work with in the future. Yeah.
Okay, so if they want to get in touch with you, where should they go?
Oh, well, they can always go and check me out on my Instagram. It's called 110 Collection. Also, I'm on Facebook called 110 Collection. It's 1.10 Collection. Yes.
Okay, so this is for specifically for custom made.
Yes. Yeah.
Custom made. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, Ferlene. It's
It
nice
was
meeting you.
No, fine. Nice
Oh
to
my
have
God.
a fellow Filipino.